It's Hyper Halloween!
Up next on the Deranged Killers list is 1982's Pieces, also known as Mil Gritos Tiene la Noche, which translates to The Night Has 1000 Screams. Pieces is a beloved cult film, an exploitation film, a slasher film, and a giallo film. In fact, this is the first giallo film that I've reviewed. For those that don't know, giallo is an Italian term used to describe a genre of film. It's typically a mystery/thriller that has elements of other genres such as slasher, psychological horror, or sexploitation. All of these subgenres fit Pieces perfectly. So with that, you kind of have an idea of what you're getting into with this film. Pieces actually got a lot of flack for depicting extreme violence towards women. In fact, it was even banned in the UK for a bit. That being said, let's talk about the core plot of this movie. Pieces starts off with a young boy named Timmy, who's trying to piece together a puzzle of a naked woman. Where he got it? Who knows. His mother is abusive toward the young lad, and she demands that he gets rid of the puzzle. Timmy decides to respond to her with an axe, and he promptly dismembers her with a hacksaw. Bit extreme, but okay. Timmy hides in a closet and waits for police. He makes up a story about a killer, and they believe him. The young boy goes to live with his aunt after that. 40 years later, and Timmy, who's not so young now, makes his return and begins murdering young girls and dismembering them. The reason behind the attacks? Well, the killer wants to create an actual Jigsaw woman. The Jigsaw woman is actually a recreation of Timmy's mother, though, and not the woman from the puzzle. The murders mostly take place on a college campus. Detectives are called in to stop said murderer. The killer stalks his victims and attacks them with a chainsaw. How he sneaks around campus with a chainsaw is a bit questionable, but hey, turn off your brain and enjoy the film for what it is. I mean, come on, it's a slasher film. Those rarely ever make sense to begin with. The killer wears a hat and a mask to hide his identity, and honestly, it looks very similar to the costume that the Shadow wears when he's depicted in comic books. So, are the cops able to stop the madman before he completes his puzzle? I'm not going to spoil it for you. You'll have to see it for yourself, and I highly recommend that you do. While the film is a very self-aware exploitation film, it's still an enjoyable film. As I said already, the killer uses a chainsaw throughout the movie, which is probably an homage to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I also already said that there's a clear nod to the Shadow with the killer's costume as well. One thing I forgot to mention earlier, Pieces was originally a Spanish film that was ultimately dubbed in English. The English dub is a little laughable at times with the added dialogue, but it added to my overall enjoyment. The director also seemed to add scenes at random, whether as an attempt at comedy or other reasons, I'm not actually sure. For instance, there's a Bruce Lee cameo in this film. Of course, that's Bruce Lee with one E. Producer Dick Randall was making a kung fu movie in Rome with a Bruce Lee imitator named Bruce Lee, again with one E. He decided to add him to Pieces for one scene, even though it doesn't make any sense in the context of the film. One other thing to note, the cops in this movie are not believable in the slightest. In fact, Mary, the female cop, is not only a cop, but a pro tennis player as well. And it's quite clear that she, along with everyone that's playing tennis, cannot play tennis at all. So with all that said, Pieces obviously fits in the so bad it's good category as well. So obviously I enjoyed this movie for that reason, as well as what it is in general. I'd say fans of the slasher genre that haven't seen this film will definitely enjoy it. Go check it out.